Hey everyone, it's time to ramble. Who is South Africa's most powerful organization, the largest asset manager, entrusted to over 3 trillion rand in assets, and has majority stake in at least 33 private-owned companies? And these are companies you and I buy and deal with on an almost daily basis. And all of that together essentially further funds the ANC over and above them looting all the taxes we paid. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the PIC, the Public Investment Corporation. They've had plenty of shady dealings, but I have a suspicion that something else is happening. Something else is about to go down, because there is a battle in the PIC, a faction which want control of the board. It's a last-ditch attempt to loot SA of everything we have. A source, which was referenced in an IOL article, said, whoever runs the PIC controls access to capital, to portfolios, to deals. I want to give you a quick summary of what's been happening in the PIC, and then amongst all the other corruption, I really want us to make sure that we keep an eye on this one. 3 trillion in assets. If you've been keeping up with the amount of news taking place in South Africa at the moment, one story amongst the millions is the controversial suspension ignites power struggle at the Public Investment Corporation. This article is what set me off. Tensions reached a climax with the organization severely divided over the suspension of its chief investment officer, Kabelo Rikhotso, earlier this week. One side stands the established board of directors, on the other, a challenging faction reportedly linked to former spokesperson Adrian Lackey, which, according to insiders, is attempting to wrest control of the PIC through covert maneuvers. The source says that the Lackey grouping has actively intercepted communications, orchestrating a campaign to remove the current board and install a new one. They have been intercepting internal memos, email threads, WhatsApp messages, basically anything they can land their hands on. The goal is to create enough confusion to muddy the waters and then push for a replacement board under their influence. The source claimed that operations had intensified over recent weeks in anticipation for internal ANC contests for leadership. Like I said, there's something happening here. Elections are coming up. ANC leadership is coming up. Who runs the PIC controls capital, portfolios, and deals. Observers said Rikhotso's suspension might not be merely disciplinary, but a tactical move. It deprived him a significant power center within the PIC of traction and created a vacuum that could be exploited by the rival fraction. Beyond financial levers, insiders believe the struggle is deeply political, tied to ANC internal alignments. Everything about every government entity is ANC related. The ANC and government are one, where it really shouldn't be. Control of the PIC offers patronage, project allocation, and the ability to underwrite strategic sectors. In the run-up to ANC leadership battles, the ability to reward or withhold funding becomes a strategic lever. Word. And just last week, I might drop a comment if you'd like me to make a video about this. The amount of ANC representatives, be it local, municipality, provincial, the murder rate, the hit rate on these guys, it's phenomenal. It really is one of the most dangerous political affiliations in South Africa. It actually said that in an article. But just look at this. In the run-up to ANC leadership battles, the ability to reward or withhold funding becomes a strategic lever. Makes my blood run cold. In its statement, the PIC said it remained firmly committed to the highest standards of accountability and corporate governance and to serving the best interests of its clients. Who are your clients? Is my question. So I want to just add a bit of depth to this because many of you will know about the 33 billion in pensions that went down the drain thanks to the horrible investment from Daybreak Farms. So in 2015, the PIC purchased Daybreak Farms, and that was for 1.2 million rand using government employee pension funds. By 2024, the situation had deteriorated so badly that multiple liquidation attempts were made, and Daybreak ultimately entered business rescue in May 2025. So what's that? 2-3 months ago. It failed to pay all their clients and service providers. It failed to pay the workers, and there was massive unhappiness. Just unhappiness. I would have been livid is the word I would have used. Furious is the word I would have used. And here, again, the same reason for every single state-owned or state-involved, unless it's private, the failures, poor decisions, lack of accountability, and would you believe it, ladies and gentlemen, incompetence damaged thousands of jobs and pensions. This lack of accountability, incompetence, and poor decisions. The Government Employee Pension Fund manages 2.3 trillion. I can't even begin to draw the zeros. I would need ChatGPT to check how many zeros a trillion is. It's a massive, massive pot of money, it says in this article. House added that a substantial portion of this is channeled into unlisted entities under a transformation policy, investments that are supposed to be in line with international best practices. However, Chris warned that in South Africa, this has translated into investments almost exclusively into BEE entities, many of which are politically connected and financially unstable. Cool. So on top of the pension fund, 2.3 trillion rand being invested into companies that are unlisted, they fit the BBBEEE criteria, but they're politically connected as well as financially unstable. So it's not that the government's there to enhance these companies, because what do they bring to the table? Let's refer back to earlier in the article, poor decisions, lack of accountability, and incompetence. Typical ANC, like Eskom. It's a failing entity. Let's just give it more money. SABC, failing entity. Give it more money. Postbank, Post Office. It's a failing entity. Give it more money. When does the ANC learn that actual physical intervention is required? Money does actually not solve all the world's problems. So almost half of Isabaya's investments, which is a portion of PIC, I can't get a handle on that, but 44% of Isabaya's investments are failing or at risk of failing. 6 billion in impaired funds over the past 2 years alone. 6 billion. To give you a sense of the scale of looting, a report that was sent to Parliament showed 44 billion has already been invested in politically aligned projects with a 44% failure rate. even I, with my very layman term understanding of finance, really, I can't do finance to save my life. But even I, under absolutely no circumstances, would I even put 10 Rand in an investment that has a 44% failure rate, knowing that all I can bring to the table is poor decisions, lack of accountability, and no skill. Oh no, I prefer the word incompetence. See now, in the last 10 years, guys, from 2015 to today, total money written off as impairment, 52 billion Rand, with 31 billion specifically lost through Isabaya investments. I am actually going to have to do part 2. Who is Isabaya Investments? See, now the problem with all of that, all good and well, the government don't deserve their pension fund. That's not how it works, guys. The 44% failure rate of these investments, unless decisive action is taken, it could mean an additional tax of 33 billion Rand on the public. How do you even justify this as a public representative? My cheeks are burning red. I'm really trying to contain myself. So your 44%, this is probably how they're looting BEE funds. Oh, hold on, this is how they're looting BEE funds. Ta-da! 33 billion extra tax because of your incompetence, because of the ANC's incompetence. Somebody said in the article that the pension law needs to be amended. It is recommended that Deputy Minister of Finance not chairs the PIC board. However, that specific recommendation was simply thrown out the door. Of course, I really need to become a little closer to he who is Deputy Minister of Finance. Honestly, I know nothing about him. Let me share the piece that most horrified me. The PIC owns large stakes in most big South African companies, making it the country's most powerful organization. If you and me and anyone has ever wondered, because I know Rob Hersop wonders this, why the companies don't stand up to Cyril's BEE bull, because that's what it is literally bull. This is why. The PIC has the largest stake, making it the country's most powerful organization. It is the equivalent of BlackRock in USA. PIC is wholly owned by the South African government, ANC, with the Minister of Finance as shareholder representative. So with it being the largest shareholder, the article actually states it makes it very influential in the local business arena. The government can use PIC to enforce its Black economic empowerment policies. I want to quickly explain how the government controls, at least, if not more, 33 private companies. Some of these surprised me. The PIC beneficiaries, who are government employees, give their vote to PIC by way of a proxy to vote on their behalf within the companies the PIC invests in. The PIC stated that it uses its voting power to appoint executive management that is racially and gender diverse within the companies it invests in, which is why Mr. couldn't get to America. I can't even remember his name, Jonas, which is why Jonas was ANC, is now MTN, was MTN, is now ANC. Shambles. So obviously, the larger the PIC investment, the more voting power they have over organizations. DIC is the largest shareholder in most companies listed on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange. To end off my ramble, I just want to read some of the names of the companies that the government, the PIC, is the largest shareholder in. There's only 3 of these names where they are the second largest. But think about it. The government, the PIC, who I feel represents the ANC, is the largest shareholder in the following companies: MTN, Telkom, Naspers, FirstRand, Capitec, Goldfields, Anglo Ashanti, Sanlam, Harmony Gold, Bidcorp, Shoprite, Discovery, Nedbank, Impala Platinum, Pepkor, Remgro, Bidbest Group, Clicks, Aspen, Mr. Price, Sibanya Stillwater, Woolworths, Exaro, Absa, Growthpoint Properties, MultiChoice, Sasol, Investec, Mondi, Coronation. Largest shareholder. They are then the second largest shareholder in the following companies: Vodacom, Standard Bank, and Dis-Chem. I don't even know what to say about that. Horrifying, horrifying. And it's funny to think, with absolutely no shame or even reflection on your own incompetence, the ANC stand up and say, you know what? We're the biggest shareholders in your companies, all of these companies I've just named. But on top of that, you also need to give us your profits for 100 billion rand transformation fund. So it's essentially holding these companies hostage. The government invests, let's say, in Woolies. Woolies uses their expertise and all the skill that they're able to have because they're private, and they create a functioning organization that is profitable. What does the government do? By using their proxy voting, they gain executive management control and then demand that these companies give a percentage of profits for 100 billion rand transformation fund. That is a circle of corruption. You're literally investing in companies, using their skills and resources for them to be profitable so that you can take a percentage of the profits, to invest it in financially unstable companies at a 44% failure rate. Somebody please make it make sense. I, however, am super, super, super confused. I'm also getting so angry at all of this. The idea that SARS comes at me demanding, hunting me down for $100. And then all of this is going on in the background. It blows my mind. Guys, that's my ramble for today. I hope you found it as insightful as I did. Like really, just 4 articles and I was like, OMG. Let me know what you think about this. Do you also agree that something's on the horizon? There is definitely a last-ditch attempt to do some last-minute looting. Yo. Interesting times. I want to encourage all of you who have not yet to subscribe, please. It is literally a financial benefit to my channel and it costs you not a cent. If you don't want to subscribe, at least drop me a like or a comment. That also boosts my channel and gives me a whole bunch of new audiences to really boost my subscriptions. I would appreciate all of those efforts from you guys. For all my fans, my current subscribers, I love you very much. And a big shout out To my first member, who, I apologize, I only realized this weekend I didn't get a notification that I have a member to my channel. Thank you so much. Your support is highly appreciated. Guys, I hope you have a great day. Good luck for the week. Over and out.